The government spokesperson insists Imran Khan is not in solitary confinement.
I want you to address the solitary confinement and why the international community, the UN, is saying it's unlawful.
Well, I think the UN folks have been watching Sky News too much, so maybe they need to chill. This doesn't sound like solitary confinement to me.
Of course, because apparently 23 hours locked indoors, months without family, friends, doctors, or phone calls now qualifies as normal access. But since you chose to argue using figures, let's stay with figures. Mr. Zaidi claimed that 860 days of incarceration amount to 112 weeks.
Imran Khan's been incarcerated for about 860 days. How many unique visits? He's supposed to get, as you said, one every week, and it's been about 112 weeks?
That is incorrect. 860 days equal 122 weeks and 6 days. But accuracy clearly was never the objective. Narrative was. He then proudly announced 870 meetings in 860 days, more than one per day.
He's had 870. Just on his family, he's had 137 meetings with his sisters.
Impressive. Until you look at how those numbers were created. Multiple people in a single sitting counted as separate meetings.
He's had 137 meetings with his sisters. 45 with Alima. 49 with Uzma.
Jail trial hearings counted as personal visits.
He's had 451 interviews with his lawyer. 451.
Well, right now,
in 860
the UN...
days.
That is not access. That is accounting. Another figure was offered with similar confidence. 575 tweets from prison. So, let's do the math again. 860 days divided by 575 tweets equals one tweet every 1.5 days. Remarkable, until the method becomes clear. Tweet threads counted separately. The same message in Urdu and English counted twice. Live streams and clips counted as standalone posts. The actual number of messages from prison is no more than 150. This style of arithmetic feels familiar. It should. It is the same thinking that produced the famous 47 election result. But here is the problem. This is not an election, and this is not your election commission. This is the public, and the public can count. Now let's move from spin to court-mandated facts. In March 2025, the Islamabad High Court ordered twice weekly meetings with family and lawyers, weekly meetings with friends and political colleagues, one phone call per week under prison rules. What actually happened? In 123 weeks of incarceration since August 5th, 2023, court-mandated meetings were denied in over 80 weeks. Thursday meetings blocked for 60-plus consecutive weeks since October 2024. Personal doctor barred for 17 months. Court orders violated 200-plus times. In 90% of family meetings, at least one person was denied entry. He remains indoors 23 hours a day. And the phone calls? The last phone call was in July 2025. Only one child was allowed to speak. The other was denied. Yet we are told this is not solitary confinement.
This doesn't sound like solitary confinement to me.
Now the government claims that the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention and the UN Rapporteur on Solitary Confinement are not aware of the ground situation.
The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, they termed Khan's detention arbitrary and politically
also
motivated.
Based on no on-the-ground investigation. They have not visited the country.
An interesting accusation. These bodies do not rely on press briefings. They rely on investigative teams, documented evidence, prison records, court orders, and verified submissions, including those requested from the state itself. They do not issue opinions, they issue formal legal findings. Findings reached after investigation, legal analysis, and repeated requests for clarification. Perhaps the confusion comes from projection, because while international bodies investigate, this government prefers to live in a bubble. A bubble tightened through amendments, notifications, and selective enforcement. A bubble where public sentiment is managed, not read, where criticism is blocked, not answered, where reality is edited. Unfortunately, international law does not operate inside that bubble. Under the UN Mandela rules, solitary confinement is 22 plus hours a day without meaningful human contact. Anything beyond 15 consecutive days is prohibited. Prolonged solitary confinement amounts to torture. Applied to this case, 23 hours locked indoors daily, weeks and months without meetings or calls, over 60 consecutive weeks without social or political contact, months without speaking to his children. These are not opinions. They are definitions. And when a government is forced to disown its own defense minister for circulating an AI-generated fake video, credibility collapses further.
Are you saying Imran a national security threat?
Absolutely.
Is that why the defense minister responded to my deep fake as though it was real news? The defense minister of Pakistan put out a statement as though the deep fake that was created between me and Imran Khan's sister talking about the India-Pakistan war, which was totally fake. He responded to it as real news. And if we are going to talk about
the defense minister is in his mid-70s, and he's an old-fashioned guy. He fell for for fake news?
So no, you cannot win the narrative. Not by exaggerating figures, not by bending math, and not by pretending the public cannot count. This is not spin. This is prolonged, unlawful solitary confinement. And facts do not change just because you say them louder.
This doesn't sound like solitary confinement to me. This doesn't sound like solitary confinement to me.